I run the country and the world, 2025. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call Haloyim La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harachak Wadash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and are worthy of their double honors. Peace and blessing to you, Akim, pushing out this truth across the four corners during these last sections of time. Shalom, shalom. I run the country and the world, 2025. Lord willing, this message is edifying. This is based off of the article off Newsbreak app, Politics, President, I run the country and the world. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28, verse 1. The word of the Lord Yahweh came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, which is likened unto Esau Edom, Thus said the Lord Yahweh, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God. And that's a perfect example of Esau Edom's pride in the society. The scriptures say the pride of thine heart had deceived thee, all right? And it has done just that. You are truly deceived into thinking that your power is of its own. As it is written, the Most High raised up Pharaoh for that purpose to show his will. This is Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thine heart had deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high and set in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's exactly the mindset of Esau Edom. Who shall bring him down to the ground? But the Most High says he shall be broken and brought to the Prince of Princes and broken without hand. So it says the president shared his thoughts on how his terms as presidents have deferred, saying in a new interview with the Atlantic that this time around he's leading the country and the world. The first time I had two things to do, run the country and survive. I had all these crooked guys, the president said in an interview published Monday. And the second time, I run the country and the world. But you're deceived, all right, under that mindset, as the scriptures say, the pride of thine heart had deceived thee, because for the same purpose the Most High raised up Pharaoh to show his will, man. And for that same purpose had the Most High raised up Esau Edom with the mindset to even come up with the lines, I run the world and the country, all right? Romans 9 and 17, for the scriptures said unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. So the Lord has raised up the leaders of the earth, the president, all right, different kings of the earth, different rulers. The scriptures tell us what? The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. He turned it whatsoever he will. This is Proverbs 21 and 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. And the Hebrew word for heart is lab, which goes into your mind. So a king's mind could be persuaded to go to war, just like a king's mind could be persuaded to ultimately go into a treaty, all right, a peace. So just as these words are, I run the country and the world, all right, the same words, okay, you're going to be condemned by, like the scriptures say, all right? Those same words, let me get it real quick, bear with me, all right? Every idle word, man. This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. And we're in that day of judgment. So those same words, I run the country and the world, all right? Because the scriptures tell us, Job 9 and 24, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. So you're not even ruling on the earth on your own. Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein who is he? So the scriptures say the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. So that comes to ask the question, who was it given into the hands of the wicked by, man? Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, all right? Matthew 12 and 37, for by thy words shall thou be justified, and by thy words shall thou be condemned. The scriptures say, he that diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it shall return upon his own head. So these same words that you're putting out there and the energy that you're putting out there in the sight of these other nations, first and foremost of the earth, all right, they're taking a hold to these different headlines and seeing that America is in that prideful, bitter mindset, man. That's ultimately going to lead to destruction. All right. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 18. I started 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighting with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen. And this is talking about America. Is fallen and has become the habitation of devils and the hold of every foul spirit and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. And we ultimately know that's a future prophecy for Babylon the Great, which is America, after those thermonuclear missiles, ICBM nuclear missiles, all right, that thermonuclear heat, okay, takes hold of this nation, okay, because the third world war will be nuclear, Isaiah 9:5, but this shall be with fuel and fire. All right, and this is going to be the aftermath of it. It tells you in Jeremiah, the Arabians shall not pitch tent here anymore. All right, but this shall be a place of doleful creatures, desert creatures, and things like that. So it says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundancies of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and our power hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the scriptures say that in the hand of the Lord is a cup, and the wicked shall drink it down to the dregs. So the wicked of the earth, all right, although they rule in pride, starting with Esau, Edom, all right, they're deceived by that great pride, okay? So it says, verse 7, how much she had glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. And that's the mindset. Going back into this headline, I run the country and the world. She saith in her heart, I shall see no sorrows, all right? I will be in global dominance. I will continue to spearhead the earth in power, but not so, says Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. It's going to be the exact opposite of that, all right? As the scriptures say, the pride of thine heart had deceived thee, all right? Like it tells you in Ezekiel, the prince of Tyrus, thou art a man, all right? Even though you sit as if you're in the seat of the Most High, saying that you run a country, you run a world, you run the earth, everyone is going to bow to your will, all right? For the same purpose Pharaoh was raised up, man. Pharaoh had the same mindset. And what happened to him? All right? I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord our power who judgeth her. Speaking of America, man, it's going to be utterly burned with fire, man. All right? That's what's going to happen. And that revelation was quoting ultimately that Isaiah, I think I have a footnote here, kind of Isaiah 47:18, which says, just to back that up, take it out on that one, Isaiah 47:18, and it says, bear with me, 8, Salakia, verse 8, it says, Isaiah 47, I'll start at 7. And thou hast said, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou did not lay these things to thy heart, neither did remember the latter end of it. All right, and that's the pride of America. Thou wilt sit in the seat of ruling over the nations of the earth, having them bowing to your will, like the scriptures say, that whore that sitteth upon many waters, those waters are likened unto nations of people. But that effect, that Babylon effect, is wearing off on the earth, man. All right, you got 10 plus nations, 11 plus nations dumping the US dollar, man, and forming their own currency. And America's going to pay for it economically. So it says, Verse 8, therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasure, speaking of America, that dwellest carelessly, that said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment and one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come on upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. You see, so ultimately all these things are going to come upon America in the fullness and take it over until this place is completely wiped off of the map, man. Thus say Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So Lord willing, this message was edifying. I'm going to give infinite honors and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harachak Wadash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Until next time, Kwam Yashala. Shalom.